I hope that this hearing will be a restart of what had been a strong and professional relationship between this committee, this subcommittee, both sides, and the Department of Commerce. And I say that because I think that it was the experience of Senator Moran that during the Biden administration, whether they agreed or disagreed, the Department of Commerce was forthcoming in providing responses to questions. And that's also true when you go back to the first Trump administration, right? But it has been a very different and broken relationship since this administration took office, at least with respect to trying to get answers from this side of the aisle. I'm not fully aware of all of the chairman's inquiries. But as you know, we have witnessed during this period of time since the beginning of the Trump administration an unprecedented and, in my view, illegal firing of thousands of federal employees, including many at the Department of Commerce, NOAA, and other places. We've also seen the withholding of funds that have been duly appropriated by this Congress and signed into law. As you know, Mr. Secretary, Article 2 of the Constitution requires the President to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Appropriations acts are the supreme law of the land. Executive orders are not. DOGE diktats are not. To that end, here's just a partial list of the department's and the administration's failure to comply with the law or with reasonable requests from this committee. The administration is withholding $200 million provided to the Department of Commerce in the fiscal year 2025 appropriations law that the President signed in March. The department has attempted to illegally shut down the Minority Business Development Agency, despite the appropriation and the recent bipartisan 2021 authorization law, putting that into the permanent statute. The department has not provided its agency RIF and reorganization plan, despite a letter that both the chairman and I sent to you and the department requesting the specifics. The department has illegally fired nearly 1,000 employees, including over 500 from NOAA alone. The department has failed to provide a real spending plan outlining how you tend to execute the fiscal year 25 appropriations law. We have this two-page document. The chairman referred to the fact that this is still missing other than this two-pager. Just to give you a point of reference, this was an equivalent from last year with respect to the plan to spend the remaining funds for this fiscal year, which, as you know, ends on September 30th. The department has failed to respond to virtually all committee inquiries, at least on the Democratic side. Letters I've sent, I sent you 2 letters, Mr. Secretary, in addition to the joint letter I sent you with the chairman, and our staff has sent multiple inquiries, and I'll have some questions about the lack of responsiveness going forward. This is, in my view, unacceptable, and I think it should be unacceptable to people on both sides of the aisle. And it's in this context that we're now taking up the fiscal year 2026 appropriations bill. And I've discussed with the chairman of the subcommittee, and I know that Senator Murray has talked with Senator Collins. As an appropriations committee, we've got to figure out how, when we appropriate resources for certain purposes, that those are complied with. Let me just say that beyond the issue of the numbers and the budget, this does come down to people. One such person is Carrie. She's a mom and a homeowner who lives in Maryland. She's a federal employee who worked at the Department of Commerce. She was proud of her mission. She worked to implement the CHIPS and Science Act, promoting domestic semiconductor manufacturing, supporting good-paying jobs. She received the so-called fork email offering her money to quit her job. She said, "I don't need to take that because I think I'm contributing." Earlier this year, she was on medical leave to recover following a major spinal surgery. She then, a few days later, received the message to tell everybody what 5 things she'd done during the week. Her husband said, "Don't focus on that, focus on your recovery." Instead, she worked from bed. Days later, she was fired. Then a judge ordered her and other employees to be reinstated, only for her to be fired again. Making matters worse, not only was her health insurance canceled, but it was also retroactively backdated, meaning she had to pay for the surgery and medication out of pocket. One prescription alone cost her $2,500. She said, and I quote, "Right now I'm working off faith. We have kids, we have a mortgage, car payments. I don't know what we're going to do." Mr. Secretary, this is no way to treat patriotic federal employees who are doing the work for our country. And I look forward to today's hearing and the questions that will be posed from people on both sides of the aisle. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Van Hollen. Mr. Secretary, as I welcomed you earlier, we now look forward to your testimony, and you may begin.